Hi everyone, Marissa Esquivel, not like a regular therapist, I'm a cool therapist. So today is part 4, how to fire your therapist. And I apologize, I was supposed to get this up last week, but alas, here I am. Very comfortable on this casual Sunday fun day. So if you haven't watched parts 1 through 3, I highly recommend you look back about how to start going to therapy, finding an amazing therapist, paying for an amazing therapist, and what to ask for and pay attention to during the free consultation call. And next week, part 5 will be about signs you're working with a bad therapist. I've heard some horror stories, so stay tuned for that. All right, so today's video is about ending with your therapist if it's not working. You aren't excited before you go, you feel disconnected during the session, and you do not feel better afterwards. It's not helping, and it's time to leave. This is for those of you who maybe you've been seeing a therapist for 1 or 2 sessions and it's feeling off, as well as those of you who have seen a therapist maybe 1 or 2 years and everyone in between. And this one is hard. Why? Why is it so hard to fire a therapist? Well, from a lot of the young women I've talked to or worked with, ending with a therapist is difficult, for a couple of reasons. Okay, so first, you don't want to hurt their feelings. Oh, you're so thoughtful. That's so sweet of you, right? You don't want to hurt their feelings. 2, you question, well, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the reason why things are off, right? Maybe I'm overthinking it or being too critical or, they're the professional, right? 3rd, you don't want to find someone else and start all over again, right? All the storytelling and the catching up, it sounds exhausting. Sharing everything that you've divulged in previous sessions with another therapist, right? The trauma, the misery, the depression, the memories. Just like, ugh. 4th, you're worried you won't be able to find someone else, right? And you'll have left with the previous therapist and you won't have anyone. You'll be in no man's land and maybe you'll fall apart. 5th, maybe you will find another therapist and they will be just as crappy as your current one, right? That's discouraging. So looking at these reasons, is it just me or is this starting to sound a lot like dating? Right? Maybe, there's nobody else out there. I don't want to start over. It's too late. Therapy sounds a lot like dating because it is, okay? And like dating, you should be working to find a therapist who speaks to your feelings, your needs, and your dreams. You should not be just settling for any therapist, just like you wouldn't settle for any girl or guy or non-binary person, okay? If you want to make real progress, if you are serious about making changes, then you will find someone that will help you get there. Okay, let all those reasons, let them go. Just no, we're done. You need to get the help that you need and deserve. Okay? So, let's establish that you are thinking seriously about leaving your therapist or you're definitely leaving soon. Like this week. Okay, so I'm going to break down what to do if, right, maybe you've only seen him a couple times or maybe you've seen him for a couple years. So I'll break down both and maybe you fit somewhere in between on this spectrum of I'm thinking about firing my therapist. All right, so if it's been brief, right, just 1 or 2 sessions, better to leave, be safe than sorry, and work with them for a while, not feeling supported. We therapists, we are experts. So if you fire us, we'll be able to cope with it. We should be able to, because likely we're going to our own therapy. So don't worry about hurting our feelings. All right. So what do you do, right? Call them, email them or text them and say, right, give them enough notice to be mindful of their cancellation policy and inform them, thank you, Dr., Mr., Mrs., therapist, person. I would like to cancel our next session and future sessions. And that's it. Keep it simple. Most likely they'll respond with an, okay, thank you. And can we schedule a phone call? Can we schedule a final session to wrap things up nicely? Get any feedback from you and also provide you with referrals, right? Maybe you're looking for something else, like someone who works with new moms or specializes in anxiety. You can say, I'm really wanting someone for that. Do you know anyone? And they can support you in finding someone else. Right? And you're thinking, Marissa, that sounds really awkward. But, therapists, we're experts at awkwards. I invite awkward in my sessions. I talk about awkward in my sessions because you can't talk about it anywhere else but in therapy. So your therapist should be able to walk with you through this conversation. And once you do notify them, you don't have to have that final call. You don't have to have that final session. That's not obligatory. It's an option, and I would encourage you to do it, right? You can tell them what feels off. You can give them the feedback. It's so awkward. Again, you don't have to, and I encourage you to. Right? So you can meet with them and you say your goodbyes, or you just text them and say goodbye that way, and then watch videos 1 through 3 for help to find an amazing therapist to help you. All right, so that's one extreme. The other extreme, let's say you've been seeing a therapist for months or years and it feels off. Okay. Honestly, this is really similar to the previous steps. Okay. You call, email, or text them and you say, I want to cancel our next session and terminate. That is the word we use for the end of therapy. Mind you, if you have been seeing them for months or years, a final 2 or 3 sessions to wrap up is highly recommended, right? So we call them termination sessions, so you can review your progress, identify areas you want to continue to work on, and provide them feedback. This will help you avoid what we call relapse prevention, where if you end therapy abruptly, you actually could start to have old behaviors that you first came in for, they might return. So you might feel more depressed, you might feel more anxious, you might start doing whatever behavior you've been doing really well with. So 2 or 3 sessions helps wrap it up, and it's like a nice soft landing on a runway as opposed to like a nosedive. And this, you can say, I felt judged by you when they ask for feedback. Or you can say, you talk too much. I didn't feel understood. This is, right, the recipient of this feedback is a professional, and unlike most areas in your life, you should be able to talk about this in therapy. If they get defensive, great, that's more evidence why you should leave. And if they take your feedback seriously, that will help them and their other clients. You are actively helping them be better therapists by giving them feedback. Sometimes I see this when clients end or they graduate, they're doing well, and they'll bring me a gift. You're not obligated to bring a gift, but your therapist might actually give you something. We call that a transitional object, like a stone or, cup, or it's just like a pen, something cute and little for a keepsake for all the hard work you've done. So just know that might be part of the process. And likely you'll experience the stages of grief, which is discussed in another video. You can check that out. So you say goodbye, and then you look for your soulmate therapist who you haven't found yet. And you go merrily on your way to find them. So I often tell my clients, therapy is not a marriage, and you are given full permission to break up or divorce whenever you want to. I've heard so many stories that I will discuss in the next video about bad therapists and know that you deserve better. I've graduated from therapy. I've gone to a therapist once and was like, oh my God, I never went back. I've had therapists who've gone missing on me. They just disappear and I don't see them again. And I have ended very intentionally with other therapists in the past, right? So I've done it all, seen it all. I encourage you not to settle until you really do find someone who can support, challenge, and get you to where you want to be. So that's it for today. Let me know how it goes. If you end up ending a therapist who you've seen just for a couple weeks or for a couple years, and how that went. I'd love to hear about it and talk and share it with other viewers. Next week, signs that you are working with a bad therapist. I will see you then. Marissa Escobar, Therapy for Young Adults in California. My website, therapywithmarissa.com, and handles on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Therapy with Marissa. Namaste.